So we all know Apple, a really big brand which is coming in a $1 trillion market, which is known for its product experience and the consumer service which they provide all around the world. Apple is famously known for its iPhones, iPads, Macs, and its complete ecosystem. The one of the biggest thing which Apple is doing ahead is the Macs, and they are kind of say one of the most futuristic and you can say the hyperly created a small piece of tech, compact sized and coming in a different types of sizes too. This Mac has been evolved from the very first product of the Apple to the very kind of say the crispiest tech available in the market. This Mac are kind of say known for its legacy, but by the time evolved, Apple designed a lot of different products, coming from game consoles to the iPads. Yeah, these iPads are when they announced that they were like a compact sized productivity, decently productivity based devices, which were famously, kept inside the pocket, and they were having a minimal size folio as well. They expanding their ecosystem. But by the time the iPads evolved, it also evolved a lot of applications, and the processing powers of the smartphones too got evolved. And that came to the iPad Pros, and these iPad Pros were a kind of say a bit of different than what we were knowing about the iPad Pros, Airs, iPad Mini, and the iPad. This complete iPad stuff are kind of coming around towards the Mac and grabbing them. How? What happened? We're gonna be discussing that in this complete video. This is Captain DRS, you're watching KRS and DRS, and this is what I think that Apple might be going ahead in the future and deleting one of their very first product, the Macs. Let's get started. Alright, unified. Apple's ecosystem is basically known for its unified electronics and stuff which is connected from the iPhone to the Mac, or you can say iPhone to the AirPods, watches, iPads, or there is a lot of peripherals who are integrated with the Apple HomeKit, and a lot of things are there to talk about in the Apple ecosystem. But apart from that, the ecosystem needs to be a minimal and needs to be in a complex manner. If I do have to say so, a user is carrying the iPad and the Macbook in the past, such as in 2015 or you can say 2017. It was a kind of say a common thing that he might be using this for that and this for that. But now it has been completely differently changed, coming around from the 2020 perspective. The 2020 was a time when a lot of things were kind of say ups and downs. The COVID was also there, and a lot of shipment delay for the chipsets were been also seen around. This happened to be a kind of say a crucial point where a lot of smartphone brands have to design their completely new path of making the processor and have to hop on different technologies. Happens to be a lot of big revolutions happening, which happen to be a really good thing. To be having a kind of say another plan for a plan B for a different brand. But Apple was having some of the ups and downs coming on for the Apple's A silicon chipset, and a lot of things were there. Apple was thinking to integrate the M6 visual chipset from a lot of time, and it was time the Apple introduced the M series after the 2020. At that moment, people were like, yeah, it's a kind of say a start for the Apple to get into their completely complex, you can say a safe ecosystem where they can do a lot of things apart from which Intel's were having a kind of say restriction on their top head. But M series was good, and M series integration into the MacBook was also really good. But apart from there, when it came to the iPad Pro, Apple was kind of say having ups and downs. People were thinking that the Apple will be going ahead and introducing a Z series, or you can see the X series of processors such as the A15Z, or you can see the at that moment I believe the A14 was there, the iPhone 12. It was like A14Z or something like that, which happened to be happening onto a lot of different older iPad Pros or something like that. But apart from that, when Apple came around and saw what they can do, they saw the M series was a really good option, and they hop on with the iPad Pro with the M1 processor. But that was a kind of say a crucial moment where people were like, yeah, the Pro will be having the Pro features, and keeping aside the rest of the iPads will be having a some of the good features with the Apple's A series based processors. But no, when the Air also introduced itself with the M1 processor, there was likewise a questioning stuff that what is Apple is going to be planning. And sooner or later, the M series was having a lot of capabilities which people were knowing when the Apple announced with the Macbook. But that same thing was kind of having a different connection when it comes to the iPad Pro. Apart from gaming and stuff like that, the productivity was a stuff which people do a lot on the iPad. But the iPad Pro with the M1 wasn't having a lot of software support and stuff like that, such as you can't do a high-end pro editing on the iPad Pro. But by the time passed, Apple introduced a lot of different brands coming around and hop onto the iPad Pro. You can see the M series based processors for the iPad basically. And sooner or later, there was a big question which seems to be happening into a lot of people, such as the what is better, the 12.9-inch iPad Pro or the 13-inch MacBook, which was going to be happening, and we were knowing that the 13-inch MacBook will be going around and getting itself discontinued. The M1 and the M2 were two of the processors which came around on the 13-inch, but the M3 came around and it completely changed the path of seeing. But still, there were some questions that which provides a better seamless experience, the iPad or even the Mac. But both are having a separate identity. But now there is the iPad Pro and the iPad Air, which are having an identity which is kind of coming around and similar to the Macbooks. Complete era is of modular computing. Basically, what I'm trying to say, the iPad Pro is basically a full-fledged tablet which can be kept in your bag, or you can see the iPad Mini can be kept in your pockets too. But keeping aside the iPad Mini and the iPad itself, there is a completely different theory for the iPad Air and the iPad Pro. Basically, due to the M1 series processor, this complete era of moduling technology is basically happening due to the peripherals which they provide with the iPad Pros. You can see the iPad Air, keyboard, the pencil, each and everything counts, which add on to the iPad and give you a seamless, basically you can say a Mac experience all around with you. I've seen a lot of users get confused with what is better, the iPad, which is a touchscreen and can be carry around, has a tablet and also has a laptop, or you can see the MacBook, which is just a perspective of the laptop. But see, there is a completely different type of scenario. I will be mentioning this each and every time I will be computing about this both of the devices, and at the end of the video basically I will be having a strong opinion why it is so. Augmented reality integration. What? Why happened? Basically, if you know, the iPads are basically a full-fledged screen which can do a lot of stuff. Coming to the iPad Pro, they have a LiDAR sensor which can record into a lot of 3D augmented stuff, and Apple is desperately planning to move on the reality headset, and a lot of things are there which they will be integrating into the future. We all know that there are some slightly cut and offs which the reality pro headset will be having, and sooner or later each and everyone will be able to find that out. And this is a kind of thing that Apple will be doing to software integration and stuff like that. But for a developer perspective, AR is important for the Apple's reality headset, and Apple is going ahead with that vision, and sooner or later the Mac should be having a compatibility with the LiDAR or something like that 3D moduling computing, something like that will be having coming apart from the Mac or adding to the iPad Pros, basically due to the LiDAR sensor and its capabilities. So what is this iPads and the Mac? You were each and every time keeping them aside. See, iPads are basically a piece of tech which are having its own capabilities, and they are compact in size and having a completely separating OS. Basically, coming towards the OS, the operating system plays a crucial role to understand the product. If you are coming from the Windows user, then you will be absolutely knowing that the MacBooks, Mac OS is completely different in compared with the iPhones, iOS, iPads, iPadOS, or any type of OS coming around on the Android side or anything. The MacBook is having a completely separate identity while it's having a completely separately look and portfolio over the OS structure. But if it comes towards the iPad OS is easily can be seen around and easily can be navigated. Basically, it is sharing a quite a while or a lot of things which is similar to the Apple's iPhone OS, which is the iOS. But apart from that, the iPad OS and the iPhone OS, or you can see the iOS, is also having a some of the things which are different and yet having it's making it both of them are completely different and usual, which is different. You have to test them, then you will be able to know that. But apart from that, macOS and iPadOS is completely different. But there were a lot of softwares which are basically famous and known for its perspective, such as the DaVinci Resolve, Final Cut Pro, GarageBand, and the list goes on and on. Recently only they were been so high-end softwares coming towards the porting of coming on the iPads, which made a lot of people questioning that in future or soon the Apple might be deleting the Macs. See, the Macs are completely different. There is the Mac Pro, which is the top of the line. The Mac, the Mac Studio, which is coming under that need. The MacBook Pro, which comes below a bit of that, which recently announced with the 14 and the 16 inch, the M3. And apart from that, there is the MacBook Air and also the Mac Mini, which is the most affordable based Mac structure to introduce yourself with the Mac stuff. And this all the Macs are having their own identity. Basically, own identity means the MacBook Pro is a kind of a top tier. You can do a lot of stuff out of it. If you are into production or something like that, then the Mac Studio and the Mac Pro will be one of the biggest option available for you. The MacBook Pro are the compact size based structure which are having a capabilities of the really good fast processing units such as with the M3, M3 Pro and the M3 Max. Same coming with the M2 Max, M2 Pro and the M2. And MacBook Air is a compact sized productivity based laptop but it is more upon the productivity. It is more than a productivity that the MacBook Air can do. The Mac Mini, as I told you, it can introduce yourself with the Mac OS and a lot of things can be expected from the Mac Mini. And they are completely having a separate identity while comparing with the iPads. Basically, the iPad is having a four different type of iPads: iPad Pro, iPad Air, the iPad Mini, and the iPad. The iPad is one of the affordable beast version which is having some pros and cons and providing a good experience for kids. The iPad Mini is a compact type of you can say a Kindle type of tablet for basic stuff such as reading and scrolling your pages and stuff like that. If you are traveling a lot, then the iPad Mini will be one of the goodest gift for you. The iPad Air is a lightweight based iPad which is having a lot of capabilities, which is something like an iPad Mini and the iPad Pro come around on this iPad Air. iPad Pro is the top of the line confused stuff as for now. But let me clear that confusion. See, the iPad Pro is having some of the softwares which are really good, but there are some stuff which you can't do. You can't stream a lot of 4K renders on the iPad Pro. It will go ahead and it will be heavier for it, as if it's not having any dedicated fan or something like that. The iPad Pro is only having a single Type-C port for a high-end editor. That's kind of like a shame. You have to carry around a lot of adapters. But that's same for the iPad, not the iPad, the MacBooks too. See, the MacBooks are now having a lot of ports, so I can't argue on that stuff. If you are having a lot of money, then you can go ahead and buy the MacBooks M3 series based ones. So that's a lot of things which will be completely apart. But in soon later or future, if Apple go ahead and kill this completely identity, then it might be a questioning stuff that the very first Apple product is having something like that. And if sooner or later also the M3 comes around on the iPad Pro, then there will be a good amount of questioning stuff, as if the MacBook with the 14-inch version is also having the M3 and the iPad Pro might be sooner or later we might be able to find that out, will be also having the M3. So on that base, the performance can be expected a lot of stuff. What are your thoughts? Let us know in the comment section down below. Future of the Apple will be not of killing their ecosystem products or their high-end products, but it will be more of that transitioning between the products happening, as if they will be adding a lot of stuff on the top of it on their ecosystem. But as we look ahead, the Apple's evolution will be continuing beyond our imagination. On that note, this was Captain Yaras. If you end up liking this video, then make sure you press the bell icon, because there are a lot of videos which will be coming soon and you will be blowing ahead with those videos. This was Captain Yaras again. I'll catch you in the next video. Like, share, subscribe. Gonna be appreciating. Stay safe, stay connected. Peace out.